Gird up your loins, be ready for action or prepare for action. 2 Kings 9 verse 1 says. So what does that mean? So if you look at also Isaiah 11 verse 5, it talks about the loins as well. And it talks about righteousness and Jesus and how righteousness was the belt that he held around his loins. So the expression gird up your loins is literally when the loins are strengthened. So the loins are the area around the waist, so between the pelvis and the waist. And in biblical times, when that area was strengthened, it literally implied preparation for service. So you're now ready for service, you're ready for action. And so we see also from Isaiah that righteousness was the belt that was used to strengthen the loins. And what that is, righteousness is not something that you do, it's not your behavior, it's actually who you are. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 21 says that he, Jesus, who knew no sin, he never committed any sin. He didn't know any sin. He who knew no sin became sin. He literally became sin. It became who he was. He became sin so that in him we could become the righteousness of God. So we have literally become the righteousness of God. It's not an action, it's not something we do, it's who we are. And when we understand our righteousness, that actually gives us strength to behave in a righteous way. It gives us strength for service for God. It gives us the strength we need, every strength we need to actually walk in the ways of God. But it comes from belief. It doesn't come from action. So righteousness can also be described as to be in right standing with God. And that literally means based on nothing you've done, based on nothing you've done in the past, and based on nothing you do in the future, you are already in right standing with God. In other words, you stand before him as though you'd never sinned. That's how you stand before him. And that's why we can come boldly to him, to the throne of grace, because we can come without shame. We can come without any sin consciousness because we have been made righteous. So I'm not going to go into it in more detail today, but I believe that the understanding of righteousness and who you are in Christ, how you are already righteous, is so fundamental to our walk with God. And that is truly one of the most important truths that I have ever come across in the Bible. And so I will do further teaching on it. But for now, just know that you are already righteous. You will never become more righteous one day than you are now. And you will never be less righteous than you are right now. And so you're as righteous as you ever gonna be. And when you believe that, when that truly sinks in, that's when it starts to change your behavior. So those things that frustrate you about yourself, that you can't seem to change, those things that you feel like you still do that don't seem like righteous acts, those start to change when we really, really get the revelation that we already are righteous. You're a new creature in Christ. So you have been born again. If you've asked Jesus into your life, you've been born again. You've been recreated on the inside. And that word new creation literally means a new species of being that never existed before. So the old being is gone and you literally are a new being, and that new being has the righteousness of God inside of it. You are in union with Christ. You have the Spirit of God in you. Your spirit has been created and made holy and new, and so you have his divine nature literally inside of you. I'll leave you with that thought.